Hello, I'm Harmony and I run the business Harmony Jade and the program Soulful CEO Collective. And today I'm going to be talking you through my cash plan so that you can hit your first 10K months. Now, these I've broken down into the first 6 steps that you need to take to make sure that you're well and truly on your way to your 10K month. And I promise you that actually using this plan and implementing it and completing all the tiny little exercises in here will actually get you to this 10K so much quicker than just grinding away at the same stuff that you've always been doing that isn't actually working. So let's jump straight in. I want to let you know that I have mentored over 100 business women to date, and I previously in my former career have worked for some of Australia's biggest retailers and led hundreds and hundreds of team members to success, to highly profitable businesses, even those that were going to close down and were 1 foot out the door. I've been able to bring back businesses from the absolute dead. So I promise you that in this guide, you're going to get all the tools you need to hit your first 10K month. Now, obviously this comes down to implementing. It's really important that you actually do the work that's in here. It is not good enough to let your ego do all the talking for you and think, I know this, I've done this before, or I've seen this before. Most of this you probably haven't actually seen before, but secondly, if you're coming in with that attitude, you're never ever going to get ahead. It's really important to put aside your ego, and the yoga teacher in me also runs the philosophy of the fact that we are all eternal students, and so we can always learn something new. And actually by doing the exercises, whether you choose to handwrite or type into your copy of this document, you're just going to make a copy of this document. Then actually by doing the exercises, what happens is your brain switches its wavelengths over a different frequency, and it starts to come up with new ideas and clarifies questions that you've previously had that you didn't even know were there, that come up from the subconscious mind, and you can clear those, whether they're beliefs or thoughts or questions, and then you can actually progress. So if you do not do the exercises in this worksheet, I promise you're going to be in exactly the same place in 12 months' time. So please, I can encourage you and stress, and I honestly cannot stress enough, please do the work that's in this document. So many people just get this, it stays in their inbox or stays in their junk box and they don't do it. If you're watching this, do this as we go. Do this as we go. You can put me on pause at any time and you can do this as we go. So I'm going to do this real time with you. I'm not even going to make you do this on your own. I'm going to talk you through it step by step as quickly as I possibly can. And that way you can just crack on and get on with it and go and do the things that you need to do to start making money in your business. So first things first, I'm just going to tell you quickly the first 6 steps here. So step 1 we're going to go through is how to get really, really crystal clear on your goals. No guesswork, no just fluffing around, no just I'm going to wing it and just see how much money I make this month. You need to get clear. You need to tell your subconscious mind exactly what you want to call in order to make that come to fruition. And it is a process. Everything is just a process, and without the goal, we can't work backwards and work out what that process is. So we need an end goal in mind. Now that goal might change over time. Your goal might be different to my goal, which is totally fine. This is not about building a business my way. This is about building a business that serves you long-term so that you don't have to hustle forever, that you don't sacrifice your health, and that you're not actually working until you're 75 and that you actually get to retire at a decent age. The second thing that we're going to go through is how to set up your systems and structure for scaling. This is super important. Obviously, there's tools like AI now that can support you to help scale, but there's so many other things that are involved in setting up systems and processes for you to be able to do that. And some of it needs someone to push the buttons first, and that is you as a solopreneur. The third step here is actually creating a marketing plan that converts. Now, you've probably heard this before: content that converts, marketing, cash machine, insert all the fluffy words, whatever. And there's so many people trying to tell you how to do this right now. I'm going to talk you through my variation of this today and how I create content in less than an hour a week that actually gets me real clients. Step number 4, we're going to go over how to build a financial plan, how to get to that 10K months, and how to break it down into just super simple steps. No spreadsheet, just a super simple exercise. Then number 5 is how to master your mindset, because again, I can give you all of the strategies, but if you don't do the work, or you don't believe that it's possible for you because you maybe think, oh, it's fine for you, I promise you that just 5 years ago, I started from zero. I left my corporate career of 20 years and I traveled around Australia in a caravan, and I lived in my caravan for 3 years and started a business from scratch. I've never had any funding. I've done it 100% from scratch myself. But I did have support. I've learned a shit ton all along the way. And I've also coupled that with my previous career experience to help grow and scale my own business. And I'm going to teach you that exact same thing now. Your mindset is everything. You must believe in it, almost ridiculous believe in it, beyond what anyone else even thinks is possible for you, so that you can move ahead. You are going to have friends and family that are going to tell you that you're fucking crazy, that are going to tell you that this is never going to work. And I promise you, because I've also been through that, I promise you that you can. There is always a way if you have unshakable, unwavering belief in yourself or your idea, right? And you don't need to know that it's going to work now, but you need to believe that it's possible eventually. Right? So we're going to go over your mindset. Step number 6 is the most important one, and we're going to cover that at the end. And that is, how do you stay accountable and stay on track with your progress? Because if you're like me or any other entrepreneur, I promise you, regardless of how much money you're earning, there are going to be days when you're going to want to throw your laptop out the fucking window. There are going to be days where you're going to want to quit. There are going to be days where it's just too hard. There are going to be months where you may not make money. And I promise you that there is a way that you can stay accountable, that you can stay on track, and that you actually can get to your goals. So let's go in. What you're going to look for is these little pink notes here that says write this down. And these sections are the sections that I want you to do the work. So please don't avoid these sections. Please don't think I know that, and I've answered that in my head. Write it down, because as I mentioned before, it literally changes over your brainwaves to think differently, and the answers come by doing. Okay, so let's get going. Step number 1. Get crystal clear on your goals. Now, you might have an idea, or you might have, kind of like some vague concept going around. I need you to be clearer. This cannot be vague. This cannot be fluffy. You need to get down into the nitty gritty, roll your sleeves up and get really fucking specific. Okay. If you haven't worked it out already, I do swear, and apologies if that's not for you, but this is just how I emphasize things. I mean this with positive intention. So the first question that I've got for you here, you can answer in the spreadsheet, or you can in the template, or you can either print this out and handwrite this. I actually would recommend handwriting this for this particular exercise. And again, the reason is this brainwave shift. You end up in your creative brain when you actually pick up a pen. When you type, your brain can't switch to the same frequency. So just so you know that, really helpful if you've got a journal handy, I would be writing straight in there. So my first question for you is, how would hitting 10K a month change your life? And how would it change your business? Now, be specific. Would this mean you get to eat different quality groceries? Would this mean you get to travel? Would this mean that you would get to pay your bills as soon as they came in rather than leaving it to the last minute? What would this actually mean for you? Now, this also works, by the way, if you are already making more than 10K months. You are not too good to learn something from this as well, because maybe the goal is just different. So how would 20K change your life? Really get super specific on how would earning this much change your personal life and change your business. In your personal life, would this allow you to show up more confidently because you can go and buy new clothes, or you can go and eat at places that your friends have been eating at that you haven't been able to make it to? What would that mean for your personal life? Would you feel like that you're contributing slightly differently to the family? Maybe there's some kind of thought around that. And then in your business, if you were earning 10K a month, what would this mean for you financially? Would this mean that maybe you could run that Facebook ad that you haven't been able to afford to run yet? Or maybe this would mean you could invest in a new brand shoot. Or maybe this would mean that you could actually pay a deposit to book your first event venue. What would this actually mean? Maybe this would mean that you could hire your first virtual assistant, which will literally just change your whole fucking life, I promise you. So 10K a month might not sound like a lot, but it can make huge change and huge difference in both your life and your business if you are super clear on what that money is going to do for you. Again, it's also really important from a money mindset point of view here to know exactly what you're going to do with that money. Because if you tell yourself, I don't need that money, then you're probably not going to call in that money because energetically and subconsciously, you don't actually believe you need it. So really important, pop your answers down there or pop that in your notebook. What would 10K a month actually do to change your life and change your business? My second question here is, how much do you want to make every month from now until the end of the year or the financial year? So at the time of recording this, we have just started a new financial year. We're now in FY26. However, it's also halfway through 2025, and that means that we've got 6 months until Christmas, or just under 6 months until Christmas now. So what do you want to make by the end of the year? Do you have a goal in mind? Did you want to go on a holiday by the end of the year? Is there something that the family needs before the end of the year? Do you have some form of financial goal for the end of this year or for the financial year? So again, get really, really specific and get in the nitty-gritty of this. The more specific you can be about how much and what that is also going to help you achieve, that is really important. If you can help it, I would also love for you to clarify how much profit do you want to make? Because this is what most businesses do wrong, is they say, I want to make 100K a year, and then they make 100K a year and they go, shit, I didn't actually get to pay myself because their prices were incorrect or their offer suite was wrong, or they prioritized making sure the customer was looked after, but they over-delivered and sacrificed their time, and they ended up energetically capped and actually reduced their hourly rate. So I would love you to clarify, what is your sales target and what is your profit target here? Because we need to also work backwards from your goal to make sure that everything is priced accordingly, that you're selling enough of them, that everyone is buying enough items or buying enough frequency to get you to your goal. The next question down is, what's one lifestyle or personal goal that you want to achieve alongside your financial goal? So this is a non-financial goal. And the reason is because you could also earn 6 figures, 7 figures, multi-7 figures, and hate your life. And that would be awful. That would be the biggest shame possible. I have previously been in a career where I worked my ass off. I worked 14 to 16 hour days. I went to work in the dark, came home from work in the dark, drove 3 hours a day in Melbourne traffic, and I hated it. I hated it. I was successful in inverted commas, and I had a nice car and I had a beautiful house, but I was never home, and I was exhausted all the time, doing everything for everyone else. And it just really was not a life that served me well, not a business or a career that served me well long term. It was great to start with. I loved the money, all of the things, but it didn't buy me happiness. In fact, I ended up with quite severe depression, and I can promise you it is not conducive to a good time, and I do not want that for you. So what is one lifestyle goal that you want to have? Is it that you want to work 4 days a week? I prefer to have Fridays off. I only work 4 days a week, and some of those days I work longer days, some of them I work shorter days, but I also love teaching yoga at night. So I'm actually a yoga teacher as well. And I do that because I'm passionate about the process of yoga and the healing and the philosophy behind yoga. So I want to make sure that I don't have to stop teaching yoga because I get too busy or my business needs me too much. I've created a business where I can still help my clients get exactly what they need, and they get so much support from me as business owners without actually sacrificing my own life. Because as much as I want my business owners to succeed, I need to be happy too. In fact, I need to be happy and healthy first. So my business model is a health first model, and it is possible for you to run a business that actually served your lifestyle as well. So get really clear here. What do you want your life to actually look like? And maybe it's going to take some time to get there. So that's okay. You're probably not going to be working 5-hour days tomorrow if you're currently working 16, because so much is going to need to change to get you there. But it's important just to know what you want to do. Now, you might want to work 8 hours a day. That's totally fine. If that's your goal, that's perfectly fine. I don't want to do that. because I like to spend so much time at the beach and so much time traveling and so much time going to see my family. So that is my goal. But get clear on what your goal is. Because again, if you can't articulate it, you cannot possibly attract it. It's not possible. You can't create a process for it if you can't visualize it either. And if you can't imagine it and you can't dream it and you're not specific, then I can't help you with a process for that. The last question here in this section is, how will you reward yourself when you achieve your goal? So when you achieve your first 10K cash month, or if you're over 10K cash months and you're heading towards 20 or 30 or whatever the goal is for you, how are you going to reward yourself? Because what we also do is we go, oh, I made a little bit of profit. That's good. And then we just move on and we're like, cool, I need to get to 15K or I need to get to 20K. And yet you haven't stopped to celebrate that actually is a huge milestone for most businesses, right? So maybe you've already hit the 10K mark and you've just like, oh, next. Slow down, enjoy it. Recognize that you've worked hard for it. Now, a reward might not be a financial reward because maybe you need the money. Maybe you need the money to stay in your bank account to reinvest for the following months, or for something else in your personal life has come up or whatever. But there are plenty of ways that you can reward yourself. Maybe it's an extra day off. Maybe it's a massage. Maybe it's a glass of wine at your favorite restaurant or something like that. But you need to reward yourself for your milestones. I remember how excited I was when I got my first sale or the first person signed up to my first ever retreat. Like, I cried because everything that had happened until that point in my life had really got me to that place. And it wasn't an easy route and it wasn't the easy road. And I didn't make money overnight. It wasn't one of those success stories. And I really just encourage you to just stop and go, oh my gosh, how far have I come so far? And look at what I'm doing. Even if you're just starting out, like, the fact that you're actually going for it is phenomenal. So congratulations. Step 2 is setting up your systems and structure for scaling. So it's really, really important that when you're setting up your business, you have the support system to back you up, especially when you're a solopreneur and you don't have a team yet. It's really important that you use your processes and your systems to support you, especially now with the use of AI. There is so much support that you can get that isn't a person. It's wild. And so you really, really need to make sure that you have this in your business. So you're not running around like a headless chook, that everything is simplified as much as possible, that you're not running some complex 30-step funnel for everything that you've probably seen people sell online. There's coaches out there that are doing a 100-step funnel system that guarantees $1 million, all of this kind of bullshit. Now, yeah, you can go that route. It's not what I teach. It's not what I teach because I promise you that there is a simpler way to do it. In fact, I can get any one of my new clients or my business owners within my program, I can reduce the amount of steps that they have in their current service model at least by 30%. Regardless of their business type. Now, I work with coaches, consultants, yoga teachers, Pilates teachers. I work with a cleaning agency. I work with 2 pet care businesses. I work with an online educator. I work with so many different types of businesses. And I promise you, I can reduce your workflow by 30% just by getting the right system, structure, and process in place, because we like to complicate things. We get shiny object syndrome, especially entrepreneurs. If you're a manifesting generator or a projector, we all also go off on these shiny little tangents and we can get distracted and we can see what other people are doing and we go, oh, I'll go and do what they're doing. It doesn't work for everyone. And so there's no point in focusing on what other people are doing. It's really important. Put your horse blinkers on in these kind of scenarios and just focus on what you're doing. So your systems and your processes are going to support you here at scale. Otherwise, you're just scaling stress. And I also don't want that for you. So how do you get your processes all streamlined and how do you actually get this into a process, right? So my first question here for you is, what are 3 repetitive tasks that are currently draining your time? So I'm talking about things that you do every single week or every single day. If you do the same thing every single week, I promise you there's a process to reduce time on it. So that might be creating content, that might be onboarding a new client. So if you're constantly taking on new clients, but you're sending them manual quotes, or you're sending them manual invoices, or you're sending them manual questionnaires, or they need to be sent manually, their terms and conditions, or you need to manually send them their logins. All of this is automatable and you do not have to be doing this stuff by hand. So have a think about what are 3 repetitive tasks that are draining your time every single week. Now, if you don't know, the easiest process for this is for 1 week, I want you to track your time. You're literally just going to get a piece of paper, fold it into 5 columns so that you've got the 5 work days or whatever the work days are that you work. And then I want you to just track every single task that you do, write it down on the day that you do it, and then go back through and highlight all of the stuff that is repeatable that you do every single week. They're the things that you can find a way to automate. Everything else that's on there, if it's just a project work or it's a one-off thing that came up, like you had to do your tax or something like that, then that is a repeatable, possibly a repeatable thing, but maybe it's an annual thing. So by the way, I have a task planner for this. So if you're watching this video and you want my free task planner, drop me a message either in Instagram at harmony_jade and I will send you my free time planning sheets for free. So just let me know if you actually want that as well. But do a time audit and make sure that you're highlighting what are your repetitive tasks and how can you put them on automation. So that is the next part, is what can you actually automate here? So have you got scheduling tools? Could you set up an automated email sequence through the platform that you're on? Or maybe you're not even on some form of platform. I've had 3 clients come to me in the last quarter that actually don't have any form of accounting software. This blows my mind. It was one of the first things I ever did. Even when I was earning literally a couple of $100s a month running retreats at first, I still had accounting software because I needed to know beyond what was actually just happening right in front of my eyeballs or through a ticketing platform. I needed to know what was happening with my cash. If you have no visibility over your cash other than just looking at your bank account and your balance statement, then it's just not detailed enough. It's just not showing you what's coming in per month. You can't get a high level reading of categories that you're spending your money on, all of those sorts of things. So super important that you're tracking this in a proper software. So if you're not already on softwares that are tracking scheduling or invoicing or your emails or your time or anything like that, it's time to also have a look at that. So how can you actually automate some of this stuff? Then my third question here in setting up systems for structure and scaling is, what can you actually delegate? So everyone that I work with always says, I want more time. And I find myself saying that all the time. I have a fear of running out of time. It's a childhood thing. And I always think, oh my gosh, I don't have enough time. Now, we can't get more time, but we can free up more time. And there are currently so many things that you are probably doing that are wasting time or that are taking too long. So how to know when to delegate is a skill and also another time where you'll need to put your ego aside and accept that actually probably someone else is going to be better at this than you. And so it's really important for you to do this time analysis. Work out what don't you like doing, what are you not good at all, in which case, for example, if you're really shit at your accounting, get someone else to do it because 1, you're probably going to fuck it up and lose money. 2, someone else can probably do it quicker, faster, better than you, and your time could actually be used better spent getting new clients and actually serving new clients, which would make you more money to pay for the person that's doing the extra work. So what can you delegate and how can you free up some time? So have a look at that. Again, automation is going to save you so much time. So use AI on the things that really, really matter. Automations, workflows, funnels, all of those sorts of things. If you're not sure about any of that language, drop me a message. I'm happy to chat with you about it anytime. I've just given you an extra freebie here just because I'm feeling super generous. So you can check out my priority sorter. A lot of people will be like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do with all my tasks. There's so much to do in a day. You can just grab my free priority sorter here as well. So I've just left that there for you. Grab that and check it out. Step 3 is creating a marketing plan that converts. So you've now gone back through, you've had a look at your systems, you've got clear on your goals, and it's really important now that you start assessing what is the product or service that you are selling and how are you actually going to get clients. So marketing is how you attract clients into your business. So if you're super new to business, marketing is the most important thing here to get your clients, because without actually, clients contacting you or potential clients coming into your world, you have no one to sell to. So it's really important to use marketing and particularly social media in the era that we're in to start building up your audience and start building trust with audience that you know what you're talking about, that this particular skill or service or product that you offer can actually solve a problem for them. if it doesn't solve a problem and it doesn't solve an urgent problem for people, they're unlikely to be wanting to pay for something. So good vibes don't make money. A lot of people are, oh, I just want to help people and I just want to have a beautiful community that love on each other. That's great, but you also need to pay bills and potentially probably want to buy a house or have a beautiful car or send your kids to a private school. Now, none of that stuff pays for itself. So good vibes don't pay the bills. What pays the bills is marketing that gets leads, that turns into sales, that you can actually deliver a result on and a transformation on, and that's what people will pay for. So you need to get really fucking good at selling your stuff. And this is not about you. And this is what holds the most of my clients back. And that is, they say things, I don't like selling myself, or I don't want to sell myself, or it feels icky to sell. And all of this is just a story. And it's also selfish because you're making it about you and you're not making it about the service that you deliver and not yourself. This is not about you. This is not you. People are not buying you. They're buying your skills and they're buying your service and they're buying the transformation that your skills and your service get them. So whether you're a skin clinic and maybe someone comes to you with really bad acne, they're not buying you. They're buying the service that clears up their acne. Right? So let's be really, really clear on that. Even if you're a yoga teacher and you teach one-to-one, people are not buying you. They are buying the change of lifestyle and behavior and peace that yoga brings them by coming to your class, right? So you need to move your ego aside, and this is a shadow ego. If it's in a negative light, it's called a shadow ego. And you need to just focus on how you can help people. Because if you say you want to help people, then you need to move yourself aside so that you actually can. Because again, good vibes is not going to help anyone. It's not going to make you money. And if you don't make money, you don't have a business. And if you don't have a business, you actually can't help people. That's how this works. So get clear on what you're selling, and then let's clarify your message. So the first question I've got here for you, again, you can either type into this sheet or you can journal on this. Again, I would prefer you to journal because this is going to unlock so much, especially when it comes to messaging, because it is a real creative kind of brain thing to do. So I want you to clarify what your unique offer is. And when I say unique, how are you different? In 2025, 2026, I promise you, your offer is not new. It's not new to anyone. Even if you have a slight unique niche or whatever, I promise you, you are not the first person in the world doing it. In fact, you've probably seen that it works for someone else, and so you're also doing it, or someone delivered a service to you and you thought, oh my God, this is amazing. This has changed my life. I'm going to do this too. You haven't invented it. If you haven't invented it, it's not new. It already exists in the marketplace. So you need to find your angle. What is your angle? For me, as a business mentor, I am the only business mentor that I know that is promoting a hustle-free business. Now, there's a lot of people saying, oh, don't burn out and don't work 24/7, like all of that sort of stuff. But I am running a health-first business model, right? And the nitty-gritty, without going into the whole business program, but the concept of this is actually coming from the fact that I did burn out. I had a nervous breakdown in my former career. I became a yoga teacher. I now understand the nervous system on the greatest depth and level. And so I want to make sure that business owners do understand that there is another way and that it is not hustle. So my whole program is built around the philosophy of anti-hustle, and that is my angle. And so that is what I'm working towards. And my angle is that I do have a former career of 20 years in business and growing and leading sales teams, as well as health qualifications and yoga qualifications and mindset qualifications. And I've done NLP training and all of these sorts of things. So you need to know what is your unique edge or angle or niche that is going to stand out, that is not the same as every other yoga teacher, skin clinic, agency, event planner, retreat facilitator, all of those sorts of things, right? Who is your ideal client? Now, ideal client is in this world is not, oh, she's 30, she lives in X suburb, blah, blah, blah. It needs to be more specific. It's like, what are her problems? When she wakes up in the morning, what is she really, really thinking about? What is she struggling with at night when she can't go to sleep? What is she stressed about? Or he or them, whatever your niche is, what are their real problems? And when I say real problems, be specific. Like for me as a business coach, a lot of people say, oh, my clients are overwhelmed. But what does overwhelmed look like? Does it mean that they sit at their desk and stare at the screen and can't make a decision because they're frozen in time? Like, that's a real visual of how overwhelm presents for people. Is someone so anxious that they can't function, that they cancel plans with friends because they're lacking so much confidence, that they're so anxious about judgment or their fears? You know, these are really specific things. Now, this is what I need you to be specific about. So please don't be generic here. Otherwise, your content is going to sound like everyone else's and it's not going to hit home. There's a major difference between someone that puts a post out saying, I'm looking for 5 women who want to build confidence, and I'm looking for 5 women who are sick and tired of waking up in the morning feeling completely inadequate, or looking in the mirror feeling like that they're not good enough to go outside. Like, that is a really specific thing that women wake up and think or feel. And so there's a huge difference between that kind of language that's going to land and resonate with people. The third question I've got here for you is, what's your plan for marketing this offer consistently over the next 8 weeks? Now, I'm going to say 8 weeks specifically because 8 weeks is a good amount of time to get a read on if something is working. What I see clients do all the time is swap and change their strategies and swap and change their tactics, and then they have no consistency, and it's impossible to measure if it's working or not, because it might not work this week, but it might start working next week, or it might start working in 3 weeks. So 8 weeks is an awesome amount of time to test a new offer, to test a marketing strategy, to test a concept with real people, and give it enough time to get eyeballs on it. So what is your plan for the next 8 weeks to be consistent? Now, when I say consistent doesn't have to be every day. If you're brand new to business, brand new to social media, and you're still learning how it works, maybe consistency for you is twice a week. Now, obviously, it's a no-brainer. The more you show up, the more eyeballs you can reach. And honestly, I really think that in 2025, 2026, you should 100% be showing up on social media every single day. Again, it doesn't have to be live. This can be automated. If you're not sure how, let me know and I can help you out with that. But you should be showing up every single day. If you want to start off with just twice a week or 1 reel a week or whatever, do that. But make sure you're consistent. Do that 1 reel every single week on the same day for 8 weeks straight. And then go back and look at the data and see if it works, or see if it got you the result that you were aiming to get. But consistency is everything. You cannot measure anything if you are not consistent. So I've just got a tiny little exercise for you. So again, answer those questions, but I also want you to go and have a crack at mapping out some content in what I call a batch. So you might batch a block of content for a whole week, and all that means is create 1 post for the next 5 days. That's it. 1 image, 1 carousel, 1 reel for the next 5 days. Batch it all together and then schedule it in. You can get softwares to schedule it in. Even Meta, which is Facebook, in the back end of Meta Business, you can actually schedule it for free. You don't even need to go and buy a software for that. It's actually pretty good. And you can post that to your Instagram and your Facebook page from Meta for free in advance. So you do the job once. And I've said this to clients before, but it's a bit like cooking. If you cook every single night, then that is like 7 nights a week. You mess up the kitchen and have to clean it up and pack it up and wash the dishes and organize shit. And it's 7 nights a week you have to think of what's for dinner. But if you do it once, your brain only has to get used 1 time for probably only an hour, now that we've got GPT. And if you can get a really, really good custom GPT going, then it's going to save you literally hours of copywriting. But you can get all of your content done in 1 go, schedule it once, less cleanup, and then it's just done. And then your rest of your week is free to do other stuff. You're not spending your whole day going, shit, what am I going to post today? I haven't posted yet. That is not how you run a sustainable business that actually gives you time freedom, because mental space, if you're losing mental space, it's just as bad as losing physical space in your calendar. right? If you want my video on how to make reels easy, then I have a YouTube out about that. It is super quick, super awesome, and has a free template in there as well. So go check that out. I've just done a YouTube on how to make reels. Really, really easy. It's current, it's working. It's 2025, halfway through 2025. It's working for me right now. It's getting me like 90,000 views per month. So I would definitely go and check that out. And we're up to step 4. Step 4 is build your financial plan. Now, as I mentioned right back at the start, you cannot do this if you don't have a goal in mind. You are just hoping for miracles and rainbows, and that is going to get you, quite frankly, fucking nowhere really quickly. In fact, you're also going to spend a lot of money really quickly if you are not well planned with your financial goals on how much sales you need to bring in. Because if you don't know how much sales you need to what we call break even, which is cover your expenses and earn the money that you need to pay yourself, then again, you're going to go out backwards pretty quickly. Now, more than 60% of businesses don't survive their first 12 months because they don't do this step. So please do not miss this. If you don't do anything else out of this document, do this. So we're going to reverse engineer your goal. I want you to pick one hero offer. Now, when I say hero offer, if you could only do one offer and only sell one thing for the rest of your entire life, what would that be? And do that. Not 10 things. Now, you might be a holistic practitioner. You might be qualified in yoga, Pilates, personal training, sound healing, all the things. But I want you to pick one offer, not necessarily one skill. And so that's different. You have a lot of different tools in your tool belt. Your clients don't know what tools they need most of the time. They don't know if they need a sound healing today or yoga or skin therapy. They don't know what they need. That is your job. You are the expert here. So you need to create an offer that makes it very, very clear to them that this offer helps them regardless of what tools are used to actually help them. Now, the dentist doesn't sell you separate packages or doesn't promote online. You won't see ever a Facebook ad for a dentist selling just the teeth scraping. Ever. Ever. They won't ever just sell the water floss. They won't sell that. People sell the water floss, obviously, but you're never going to see that in an online ad. You're just going to see you should come to the dentist because you want to maintain your teeth health, right? Or your oral health. They're not selling the tools that they use. They're selling the result and they're selling the outcome that they provide. And you need to do exactly the same thing. So narrow this down, pick one offer, work out exactly how much you're going to sell the offer for. So say, for example, you're going to sell your offer for $1,000. So if you're going to sell your offer for $1,000, you now know that in order to hit a 10K month, you're going to need to sell 10 of them, 10 times that $1,000 offer. So this is simple math. It's the simple math of working out how you're going to hit your 10K month, right? Now, to sell 10 of something probably doesn't sound like much. However, in order to sell 10 of something based off purely a numbers game and an average of ratio of what actually works from a conversion point of view, conversion meaning I get X amount of people say I'm interested versus this is how many people actually paid at the checkout. Now I talk in real dollars that landed in my bank account. I never talk in predicted sales or anything like that. If I tell you that I have a 6-figure business, it's because 6 figures has landed in my account. I'm not waiting on it. These people are not on payment plans. This is the cash that's landed in my bank account. So this is where it's really important to work out how many leads do I need to get in order to convert 10 people. Because if I just relied on the fact that I was going to get 10 people, but only 25% of these people said yes, then I'm really only going to have 2 or 3 customers that are going to say yes, and I'm going to be miles off my 10K goal, right? So realistically, in order to hit 10 clients, and again, this is going to be completely dependent on what you're selling, by the way, and how much it actually is. Obviously, if you're selling a higher ticket price, anything over $1,000, then people's buying decisions sometimes, not always, but sometimes going to take a little bit more workaround. You might actually have to get more leads for the conversion of sales, or the conversion rate might actually be lower for high ticket items. That is perfectly normal, right? So in most instances, if I'm just going to use this $1,000 for as an example. If I wanted 10 clients, I should probably times that by 5. I'm going to need 5 times more leads than I am sales, in which case I need to connect with 50 leads to get 10 sales, right? So super important that you know that prior to going to market. Because again, there's a difference between I need 10 leads and I need 10 sales. When it comes to your marketing, if you are not consistent, then there's just no way you're going to get your 50 leads or your lead count, whatever your lead count is. So you need to be aware of what is the amount of leads that you need in order to get the sales that you actually want to achieve. So here in this example, you're just going to put this down and then you're super clear on what you actually need. Number 5, let's talk about mindset, because this will be the number one thing that holds you back. If you're here and you are starting a business, I promise you are smart enough to run a successful business. And I also know that even if you don't know the skills yet or the platforms or the techniques to get your business up and going, you have enough brains and you have the wisdom that actually will get you there. So you can learn any skill. It's possible for anyone. I work with tons of neurodivergent people all the time, and anyone can learn how to run a business, all the logistics of it, all of the systems and platforms, right? But the one thing that will hold you back is your mindset. And if you don't believe without a shadow of a doubt that this is possible for you, then it's not. I'm going to repeat that. If you don't believe this is possible for you, it's not. And you'll be right. So do not skip over these questions. I want you to really, really sit with this. Maybe you put me on pause and maybe you think about this for a little bit longer. Grab a journal, cup of tea, whatever you need to do, but think about these questions seriously. Because at every level, maybe you hit the 10K month and then you're going for 20K month, these exact same questions will come up. I promise you, at every level, this comes up. The same mindset blocks come up. So it's really important that you do this work now so that you can move through it and you can also become aware of it at different stages throughout your business. So the first question is, I want you to write down, what are you worried about? What are you worried will happen when you hit 10K months? What are you worried about? Are you worried that you're going to get too busy? Are you worried that people might judge you if you start earning more than your friends and family? Are you worried that you'll waste the money and that it'll just disappear again? Are you worried that it won't be enough? Are you worried that you'll have to hustle harder for this money? So I want you to write down that fear. And there's no shame here. We've all had them. I've been through this myself. I'm constantly going back and forwards through these questions. I worked with a mindset coach just on this just the other day. The second one is, now I want you to flip it around and I want you to work out, what is the belief? What's the new belief that will drive your success forward? What is the opposite of the fear, right? So maybe your fear is, I'm not good with money and it's just going to disappear. But maybe the new belief is, I am in control of my money and money serves me. It helps me help more people. And so you're going to create this statement of how you have more respect for money now because you're shifting this mindset and this belief. Then the next question is, what boundaries do you need to set, right? Because when you start getting busier, and for most of you right now, if you took on another 10 clients tomorrow, you'd probably be pretty overwhelmed, right? So we've got to be careful what we wish for. We all say we want more money and then people get more clients and then go, shit, how am I going to deliver on my service promise? How am I going to make this happen? How am I going to make sure that I get to everyone without working 24/7? So what boundaries do you need to set so that you're setting yourself up for success, that you are consistent, controlled, calm, supported, and that you don't let energy leaks happen and bleed into your personal life so that you don't resent your business? Because also when people often start working more in their business and they don't put a timeline on it, sometimes people want to do like a launch or something. And so, yeah, they might have to hustle for a bit because they've got a lot of marketing to do or whatever. Put a time cap on it. It's like, cool, I'm going to do this for 12 weeks and then I'm not going to do it anymore because I'm going to be launched and it's going to be done. So what boundaries do you need to put on this so that you are controlled and calm and don't lose your cool and you don't resent your business and you're not over delivering to clients all the time and you're not staying back. So put those boundaries in place for clients, for time, for yourself, and also communicate to friends and family as well. Sometimes when I'm going through a growth phase in my business, I actually talk to my best friend and I'm like, right now I'm in a growth phase and I'm really focused on my business. And so I'm just not going to say yes to social things at the moment because I'm saving my energy, right? Other times, even if I'm in a launch phase, I want to go out and I want to see friends because it's the best way to actually go out, have a laugh, and not be so serious about life because business can get so serious. So what boundaries or support do you need to set up for yourself so that you are supported? And then the last thing that we hear is the most important part: staying accountable. How do you stay accountable and how do you stay on track to your progress, especially when you may want to throw your business out the window every other day? It's important that you set yourself up with all of the support that I've mentioned above so that you don't want to do that and so that you're actually getting the rewards from being in your own business. There is so many positive things about having your own business. Obviously the freedom, obviously setting your own schedule, obviously having your own money and deciding how much profit you want to earn. All of those things. There's so many benefits to having your own business, but you need to be accountable for it, right? This is sometimes a big identity shift, is going from employee mindset into CEO mindset. So these are the questions that I want you to reflect on. Now, I do these every single month as a SWOT analysis for my business, but I also ask my clients this every single Monday. What did I hit for my revenue? And why did I hit it? Why did I not hit it? What did I do well or what did I not do well last week? And how can I prevent that from happening this week, right? So you really just want to reflect every single week, every single month, making sure that you're just checking in. Okay, cool. Am I on track? Have I gone back to my main goal? Am I working towards that, or am I miles off? What am I actually doing? How have I got distracted? What actions got me closer to my goal? What's my revenue goal for next week? What adjustments do I need to make to stay on course? Now that comes back to that 8-week goal setting that I said. If you do something consistently for 8 weeks, you're going to be able to track it. You're going to be able to measure it. If you swap and change all the time, you're just not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get anywhere. You're going to confuse people that are watching you, that are following you, that are thinking maybe this service is for me. Oh wait, no, it's not. They need you to be consistent. There is so much noise out there in the marketplace, and especially in the digital marketplace. Your clients need clarity. I hope this has been super helpful. If you have got value out of this, I would love to hear from you. Please drop me a DM over at Harmony_Jade on Instagram. I hang out on Instagram probably more than I would like to admit, to be honest. Otherwise, my email is down the bottom of this sheet and you can drop me an email. Let me know what you think. If you wanted any of the extra templates in there mentioned, or jump on YouTube and you need anything, again, please message me. I am an open book and I love helping people. That is my mission, is to help more people. If you are interested in joining the Soulful CEO Collective and you need help implementing this, then you can just click down the bottom here. You can click to check out the Soulful CEO Collective. This gives you all the information. So in that document, you will have all the information about how it works. It's literally got my entire course outline in it. It shows you exactly what we do over 12 months and how I help you. It's also got lots of amazing stories of female entrepreneurs, exactly like you, exactly like Lariessa, who went from $75,000 to $375,000 in just 10 months in the last financial year working with me. And she's on track to hit $1 million in FY26, which is wild. This is so awesome. I'm so excited for her. Then there's Christy, who was self-proclaimed, hectic, chaotic business owner. She runs 2 event businesses and she has just finished out the financial year generating a 2,300% increase on the previous year in just 10 months with me inside Soulful CEO. So these women have epic stories. They are running all sorts of different service businesses. So go and check those out as well. Like I said, if you need anything, please let me know. Have a good read about how to join the Soulful CEO Collective. We currently have 5 spots available for people to join now, and I hope to see you in there. Thanks again.